Welcome to this lecture on the pelvis. This slide lists the learning objectives that you should be able to answer at the conclusion of this presentation. Lists the components of the pelvis and describe the three bones that constitute the pelvic bone. Describe the false pelvis and true pelvis, as well as the inlet and outlet. Describe the components of the pelvic wall and its apertures. Describe the components of the pelvic floor. Compare and contrast the contents found in the deep perineal pouch of men and women. Compare and contrast a male pelvis with a female pelvis. Describe the joints and ligaments associated with the pelvis. And then we'll summarize the key take-home messages from this presentation and finish by presenting attribution for the images that were used throughout this presentation. Here is our body map, and our region of focus will be on the inferior aspect of the body map. Here we have the superior most projection of the iliac crest extending over to this region here. Similarly, we can see that general area on the posterior view, and so we'll be working our way inferior to that line. When we think about the bony pelvis, there are three components that form the pelvis. Two of those components are pelvic bones. We have a pelvic bone shown here. We have the opposite pelvic bone shown here. And then we have the sacrum and coccyx. So those are the bony constituents of the pelvis. And so now we'll want to learn a little bit more about each one of these. So let's begin with the largest pelvic contribution, and that would be the pelvic bone itself. And so we want to understand the components and the fact that the components of the pelvic bone will help to form a socket called the acetabulum. Here we see the pelvic bone prior to its maturation or its fusion of its constituent components. Those components are the ilium that we see here. This is a lateral view. Here we see the contribution of the ilium to the formation of the acetabulum. We also have here this structure called the ischium. It too contributes to the formation of the acetabulum. And then the last component that makes up the pelvic bone is this one in through here, kind of shaded in orange. This is the pubic bone, and it makes a contribution as well to the formation of the acetabulum. The ilium helps to form about 2/5 of the acetabulum. The ischium, about 2/5 as well. And then the pubic bone will help form the remaining 1/5 to the acetabulum.